last few thoughts from my guests before we conclude this discussion. We'll have some feedback up shortly. I don't know if we have it ready. If not, we'll come back to it in just a bit. Your tweets using the hashtag NewsNight and the SMS line 22422. Opiyo Wandayi, I just want to get your attention to this story that we actually ran in our bulletin this evening. A Nairobi State House visit with President William Ruto by 9 MPs from Raila Odinga's backyard has sparked tension in ODM, with top party officials disowning it and terming it as personal. We also are told that you have called for a must-attend meeting on Thursday. Please shed light on the agenda of this must-attend meeting.
Well, Wahiga, on the matter of the visit to State House today by a section of our membership, the party did issue a statement earlier today, and a very comprehensive statement for that matter, which I don't want to really add anything to or subtract. So I leave it at that.
For those who did not see that message?
Yeah, of course the party denounced
Content?
The party denounced the visit in a statement issued by the Director of Communication of ODM. Okay? Yeah, so let's leave it at that.
But you were quoted as having demanded for attendance of a meeting.
Well,
is the meeting on?
Well, the meeting that we have called for on Thursday is an Azimio parliamentary group meeting, which shall be holding in Stony Ati Resort in Machakos County on Thursday and Friday this week. It has got nothing whatsoever to do with what transpired today in State House. Okay? That meeting is basically a meeting to take stock of where we are, really, and prepare ourselves for the commencement of the second session of the National Assembly, which is due on the 14th of this month. That is Tuesday next week. We shall, of course, be appraising ourselves on how far we have come since the elections, the gains we might have made, and possible losses, so that as we move forward, we move on one accord. That's really the most important thing. And above all, to bond. As a family.
So the quote in sections of the media that everyone must show up, they must...
Well, it's
very strong words from you.
It's a meeting that, in my capacity as the leader of minority, I have called. And I am encouraging all our members who are able to be present to attend this meeting in person. Because it's going to be a very crucial meeting that can only happen once in a session of Parliament. Of course, we have so far received some regrets or apologies from a few of our colleagues. And yet, of course, we have got overwhelming confirmations from our membership. It's going to be a full house. Yeah.
Are there confirmations from the 9 that went to State House?
I don't have the specifics here with me. Yeah, but I can do the analysis once I leave here. Yeah, it's a free-for-all meeting. All the members of the Azimio parliamentary group are supposed to come. But again, Wahiga, I don't know why you're dwelling so much on this matter of visit to State House. You know, as a party, we have, at a coalition, we have been very clear.
I think the reaction is...
We have been very clear.
Okay, you've asked...
Let me say this now.
Why are we dwelling on this? Let me say this.
Because you are drawing me that area.
We've seen governors at State House. We've seen governors in meetings with cabinet secretaries. We have not seen a response from the ODM party. We see 9 MPs at State House, and the response from the ODM party and a few governors is what has raised our attention on this.
You know, first, I don't speak for ODM party or even Azimio coalition. I only speak for the Azimio coalition parliamentary group. Okay? I'm not privy to what could have gone on between those persons who visit those offices and the party leadership. And what I know is that the Azimio coalition leader, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, has made a very clear pronouncement, okay, on how he wants us to relate with the current regime, which I need not to dwell on, okay? So anybody going against that edict, is obviously doing so with the full knowledge of what is the party position or coalition position. And we leave it again to the conscience of our members, okay, to choose to do what they want to do. There has been this talk, again, that, the rallies we have been holding, some party members have not been attending. These rallies that we continue to hold, and we shall hold even up to whatever time it will be, are rallies that are free and open to every other person who intends to attend them. And those who attend these rallies, be they leaders or common mananchi, do so on their own volition. On their own volition. If you choose to attend, fine enough. If you don't attend, it's also good. You could have your own reasons. And therefore, let's not read too much. Let's basically go by the statement issued today by the ODM party. Okay? Yeah, thank you.
Kimani had a question for you. Before I read the tweet.
I was trying to be the moderator and ask Opiyo which is what, because this guidance on how they relate with the government. Because I remember when His Excellency the President went to Homa Bay, and it was Homa Bay, I think, and Kisumu. You saw how leaders in Homa Bay County, led by the governor, the senator, and all members of parliament, including MCAs, received the president and engaged with him on development matters. There's nothing different, by the way, Wahiga. Today, I was just reading a tweet as you were reading your tweet there, by the Honorable Jalango, the member of parliament for Langata, saying that he had breakfast in the morning with the president, following up on the start of the low-cost housing in high-rise ward in his constituency, and completion of Langata's TVET. And he said he got a commitment that 50 million shillings has already been committed to the completion of that. And of course, housing for people in Langata and parts of Kibra, where they have had to live with the tragedy of just being used for politics over the years, and without being provided for housing and meaningful, affordable housing. And that is what this government is intent on. Therefore, there's nothing absolutely wrong with a member of parliament engaging with the President of the Republic of Kenya on matters development. And it tells you it's out of the realization that they are confronted with a situation where they have leadership within their political party. And that's what I think Honorable Opiyo Wandayi is afraid. And I understand him. He's not able to, he cannot even say it on TV. James Orengo, who you are quoting as a governor, and Anyang' Nyong'o, were with the president just the other day. I'm sure the president is meeting governors in Naivasha this weekend. I am almost certain, unless they will now avoid because I'm saying it here, but I'm almost certain they will be there. And they would want to articulate issues that matter to the people of Siaya and the people of Kisumu County. And I know because of both of them went to the school I went to. I know their intent on delivering to the people of Siaya and Kisumu. And they know they will not deliver by attending rallies in Kibra, in Jacaranda, somewhere in Machakos. You will not deliver anything to the people. Therefore, if on one hand, their party leader is telling them, okay, engage with the president on development matters, then the next weekend he's telling them, we do not recognize this government and we do not recognize this president. The same party leader is in a government office. The government he does not recognize, seeking government services from the same government. But suffice it to say, Wahiga, the president, and indeed all of us, and even myself in my engagements, and I said it in Mombasa in front of the leader of minority and all the minority members of parliament, we are cognizant of the fact that we are in a legitimately elected government that is there to serve all the people of Kenya, including those who never voted for us, including those who sank us economically into the hole that they sank us, and even those of the Pandora Papers. And I don't know whether they paid tax on the Pandora Papers, by the way.
I saw your tweet.
I have challenged
you raise it.
And I am doing this. People have been asking me, why are you doing this? And Opiyo Wandayi was asking, yeah, why don't you allow, and that's what I've seen them shouting in their rallies, allow KRA to do their work. KRA is doing their work in terms of collecting taxes from everybody, including those who imagined with impunity that they are not supposed to pay taxes, that you can sell milk left, right, and center and not pay taxes on it, while the farmers you are buying from are paying taxes. I mean, is what the president was saying there, this is not the animal farm, where some animals are more equal than others. The president today is leading from the front in paying his taxes. Therefore, everybody else must pay their taxes. Therefore, when KRA is doing their work, then you, instead of now you paying your taxes, you tell people, okay, now, let us now decide we will not recognize this government, we don't recognize the president, let us now call our people to defend us from paying taxes.
Okay.
That is where the politics comes. Okay. And if you're talking about politicization of tax collection, it is them and their leadership that are politicizing tax collection. For me, as a responsible leader, and the president as a responsible president, it is to tell everybody that you must pay taxes.
So here's what I find very interesting, is that just before, is that a year ago, if I had both of you in studio, your side would be saying, stop politicizing DCI, stop politicizing the war on corruption.
Exactly.
Now, 1 year later, His side is now saying, stop politicizing KRA.
By the way,
stop so Kenyans watching are wondering.
Let me say something.
They are worlds apart, Wahiga.
Okay, let him speak.
Look at the way I just want to say how it's being done now.
Let me say something.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what beef my friend and his team have with the former president. Yes, because that's really the crux of the matter here. You know, and it sometimes you can't even imagine.
Who has mentioned
that a while back, okay? Because all these innuendos are clearly written that.
Who has mentioned him?
Yeah, and all these matters of tax evasion, as you are alluding to, of persons selling milk and not paying tax, and yet the farmers who are selling the milk to the person are paying tax. When did this start? If I may ask that question. Did it start yesterday, this idea of people not paying taxes and using power to evade tax payment? I thought the former president was in power from 2013, okay? And he was in power with my friend Kimani Chungwa. He was in power with Honorable William Ruto for 10 good years. 10 good years. Oh, so what happened? When did things change?
Okay.
When did the realization that...
So here's the thing. So he's not here.
Yeah,
not here.
Yeah.
And
I was actually wondering who brought in issues to do with the former president. Nobody has mentioned.
Why
is he bringing?
I'm a politician.
In your absence, I think you'd have a problem with that. So let's do this. Let's take the feedback.
You must not discuss the former president, and he's not here.
These are the tweets that we have. 2243 is the SMS line. The hashtag is NewsNight. Let's put them up. We've got leaders of the House here. Budget. Okay, Kibet Nico says budget cuts on recurrent expenditure is the way to achieve more development goals. But loopholes must be sealed. I can't see any tight measure on that. Kibet Nico. All right, we have Okelo Mwalimu who says, remind the two House leaders that poor Kenyans aren't interested in political chess games. MPs in Kenya Kwanza should stop behaving like their appendages to executive. Azimio MPs should continue pushing government to deliver on its pledges without being bought. That's a message to both our leaders here. Kiberenge Jr. says, it's either a presidential system or a parliamentary system. We can't have both at the same time, however much we argue it out with good English. CSS appearing in the National Assembly in the current constitutional dispensation is unconstitutional. That's how Kiberenge sees it. Do you have any others? Danson Kuruna. Decisions like cutting expenditure and stopping further borrowing have a lot of economic implications. Combative and explosive politics does not provide a conducive environment for these decisions. He then goes on to say, the economic crisis facing the country is quite serious. Instead of politicians coming together to look for solutions, they're only interested in squeezing political capital from the tragedy. Okay, Matthew Muraga says, NSSF is a saving scheme and it's good. However, they need to put in measures to ensure the funds are not mismanaged. They also need to address the issues of bureaucracy in accessing the funds after retirement. And we've had many viewers ask us on that. Kiprono Abraham 1, you say culture of savings is good. We should also ensure that employees are well remunerated to enable them to save as well. We cannot have underpaid employees struggling to meet their basic needs and still ask them to save. Okay, Kiprono, thank you. Nyantika Chester, the culture of saving among Kenyans will only make sense and bear fruit if we thoroughly seal all loopholes for pilferage and theft. Why should people save? Only for their savings to be swindled. Okay, and one last one here. Engineer Lazaro, you say our leaders should reason together and talk with one voice when discussing any issue touching the economy. We must safeguard our superiority in Eastern Africa, or else history will judge them harshly. Gentlemen, I promised to release you earlier than now, so I will do that now, but I give you each a parting shot. The House resumes next week. In 1 minute, your priority areas. What should Kenyans expect? I'll start from a rank perspective. Minority leader, let me start.
I don't know what you mean by rank. Let me just start because I'm next to you. Yes.
Well noted.
You know, yes. You know, really, I just want to let Kenyans know that even though they are facing difficult times, very, very serious economic hardships, okay, which has been occasioned by poor management of the economy and poor leadership at that matter, they should sit pretty in the knowledge that the Azimio coalition will stand by them and will continue to be the watchdog, okay, to ensure that their rights are not trampled upon, and that whoever collects taxes from them manages those taxes prudently for their good, and that we shall not forsake the people of this country. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Briefly, let's make it brief also.
Oiga, there's a famous quote by Bill Clinton that it's the economy.
Stupid.
Therefore, the priority is on the economy. Of course, there are a bit of housekeeping issues, formation of sessional committees which will be working together with the lead of minority on, then processing of BPS, the supplementary estimates, the debt management strategy paper for the next financial year. And of course, I hope by end of April then, because we'll still be in this session of Parliament, we will now consider estimates for the next financial year and of course the finance bill. I've had instances where in rallies, again, here we are being told, oh, Kenyans are paying very many taxes and very high taxes. And they accuse this administration of imposing high taxes. And what Kenyans are not told, Wahiga, is that all the taxes Kenyans are paying today are taxes that were imposed on them by the handshake regime.
Okay.
The Honorable Opiyo Wandayi,
Yes,
in closing, the Honorable Opiyo Wandayi said something on, and it's a question that he keeps repeating, I think, to insinuate bad intentions and bad motives in me. And he knows I'm a very good Christian. I never have any bad motives and intentions against anybody, including his party leader, who is not my very good friend, but a man I respect. Why 2018? To date? And I answered that question yesterday when someone in the media asked me, why are we looking at tax waivers, tax exemptions and reliefs after 2018? I'll tell you two reasons. One, Opiyo Wandayi, if you go to Parliament, you'll see that indeed the information between 2012 and 2017
is available there.
Available within Parliament.
And secondly?
Communicated. Secondly, the bulk, he asked, is it that this tax waivers and evasion of tax was more prevalent from 2018 to date? I will tell you a straight answer, Opiyo, yes, it was more prevalent. Why? Because the environment was smoothened by the handshake. There was nobody to oversight government. There was nobody to ask questions.
You say yes with facts, and those are numbers that you publicly table.
I say yes with facts
with
and
numbers.
I think not Opiyo Wahiga, when the cabinet secretary, because when I asked the cabinet secretary for that information formally, I would simply have called Professor Njuguna Ndung'u and told him, send me on WhatsApp this information. But I did it formally on letterhead because I wanted to be in public record. That was indeed abuse of office. There was gross impunity by members who were in government in the last regime, under the handshake regime. And the handshake did a lot of injustice to Kenyans by facilitating the theft of public resources, facilitating tax waivers.
Thank you,
then the same people now are telling people to demonstrate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Kimani Ichung'wah, Minority Leader, the National Assembly, and MP Kikuyu, thank you for your time this evening. Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi. I haven't even gotten time to ask you how it's been so far. But we'll do that. It's been rough. How's it been for you, Minority Leader?
Yeah, it's normal.
No more.
They're used to it now.
They're used to it. This position specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
It's been rough for him also. Let me speak for him. No. It's not been very easy, by the way. Yeah, dealing with people at the level he's dealing with people now. It's rough, and you have to balance so many things, your constituency, expectations of people, expectations of other leaders. It's not easy, but with God's grace and guidance, and of course, working together, we should be able to prevail.
And you two seem to somehow work well together, despite and in spite.
I work well with everybody.
You work well with everyone?
Even those who don't like me.
We're going to leave it there. That's a good parting shot. Thank you so much to the two leaders for their time here with us today, taking time. They'll be very busy from next week, Tuesday. And so we try to hold on to them as much as we can and get your questions in on that. But this is where we wrap it up. On behalf of the whole team that's made this broadcast possible, thank you for having tuned in. Our sign language interpreter has been Joki Shege. We do this every Tuesday. Call duty bearers, opinion shapers, and leaders and ask them those questions that you want to ask them. Let's leave it at that for now. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. Have a good night. We'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Good night.